Tow company. Some residents accusing a tow truck company of going above and beyond and taking their cars right out of their driveways.
Really?
I don't know about that. I mean,
it seems extreme.
Yeah. Pay your bill?
It's hard to take sides on this one because apparently it's I don't know. We'll figure it out. Residents of the Gables, Winfield, Glen, and St. Johns County are expressing frustration over their towing company in their neighborhood, citing strict enforcement of parking rules set by homeowners associations. Excuse me, I'm just vomiting in my mouth at the thought of van and a Speedo.
Oh. Fiber.
Complaints include cars being towed for minor violations, such as a quarter of a tire being on the apron of a driveway.
Oh, wow.
Some residents argue that the narrow driveways and limited garage space force them to park on the driveways or aprons. You can't park in your driveway in this place. I don't even have to get too deep.
HOA
I know. I don't even have to get too deep into this to be like, what is wrong with the HOA?
I could never, you guys.
This
I
is
could
all
never.
HOA.
This would be crazy.
This is why people hate HOAs.
This would be crazy.
I have
I
parking
bet you
lots
it's
that
the
people get
HOA that
towed.
wrote in for this story
Probably.
to make them look good.
Yeah. I have parking lots where people get towed and they still call, even though it's somebody who's completely parked in the wrong location, didn't pay, blocking stuff. And they still call and say, hey, do we have the authority to tow? And yeah, you have the authority.
Yep.
So I'm blaming this one on the HOA.
Yeah, majorly.
This sounds like the HOA's rules are absolutely unbelievably ridiculous. I mean, I don't have to read much further into this.
What is the benefit of an HOA?
That's a great question. I don't have one where I live. Thank God.
It shares amenities. So your neighborhood looks good in the front entrance. You have insurance on the neighborhood. You have a neighborhood. Sometimes you have a neighborhood park. A lot of times you have pools that are full. So it's like in a building like this, where you share facilities, you have what's called a CAM fee. And that's the HOA is a version of, a commercial CAM fee.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know, in Marsh Creek, if you don't power spray your roof, they'll come around and they'll send you a fine. It's just, and it's but then another neighbor doesn't do it. Then that starts the whole chaos of, keeping everybody at a certain community standard. It just gets really nuts. Have you ever lived in an HOA?
I've been HOA president before.
Really?
Yeah. Worst HOA president.
I don't know if I would come out.
The guy before me was. I can tell you this. There was only 59 homes in our community that we lived in. We had a guy who was this guy going around taking pictures of everybody who was doing this and doing that. We actually had to go to, because your HOAs are registered with the state. We had to go to the state, put an actual appeal up. The person that had to replace him had to have 80% of the people to take him out.
Okay. Wow.
And they all came to me and said,
you guys organized a coup.
No, I was not involved in it. They came to me and said, you're the only person we can get 80% on. And I was like, okay, I don't like the guy either.
Oh, my goodness.
I became president for 2 years.
Wow.
So,
probably not a fun job.
No, and I didn't really have time to be HOA president at the time.
So then where do all those fees actually go, Troy? You got to tell us, where do all those fees actually really in reality go?
Well, there's some that are very healthy and run correctly. And then there's others that, they hire wrong contractors. They basically just don't run a business the way, because it's got to be run like a business.
It definitely does.
I mean, just like there's good business people and there's bad business people, there's good HOA people and bad HOA people. Condo HOAs, it's everything outside the condo is the responsibility of the HOA. So if you redo the painting or you redo it,
right, you can't have a pink house. They have certain guidelines. But to tow someone's car like that, just aggressively,
it's in their driveway, that doesn't make sense.
That doesn't make sense to me at all.
On the apron of their man.
Right.
And here's what I'm thinking. When they say it's in their driveway, it's probably blocking the sidewalk that goes through their driveway.
Okay.
And people can't get through.
But have a conversation before you tow someone's property.
Well,
right?
also as human beings, are we stupid enough that we're going to run into somebody's, like, we're not going to be able to just turn around it on a bike or walk around it in a car? Like, I get the concept. I do understand the concept.
If you're in a wheelchair, which, and there's certain things that I didn't get until Ty was in a wheelchair for, for like 6 months.
All right. And I can make the concession
you don't even think of it. And then when you get there, you're just like,
yeah,
I didn't even think of this before.
Okay, that's fair.
And there's little things like that like handicapped people go through that you don't realize until you're actually hands-on with it.
Okay.
But at least have a conversation before you tow someone's property.
Give somebody a chance to fix it.
Right. I'm defending, but it sounds like it's still an extreme HOA situation.
Very
the towing
extreme.
fees, you guys know towing fees are not cheap. The towing fees for this particular company, which I'm not going to name, by the way.
Good.
The story kind of attacks this towing company. I think the towing company is just doing what the HOA is asking it to do.
Right. It's their job.
So I'm not even going to name the towing company, but $250, I mean, that's steep for just parking incorrectly in your driveway.
Yeah,
that's nuts.
But that's pretty much standard.
$250.
That's what it is to get it back out if you park in one
groceries.
of our places. Yeah, that's what we paid yesterday.
Yeah,
groceries are ridiculous.
HOA president Zenzi Rogers.
Yeah, rethink your life there, Zenzi.
Mentioned that residents can request a review if towed, and a refund is issued if no violation is found. I have to imagine. Even if they're getting you for the slightest violation, they're taking the picture and they're going to be able to prove to you that there is a slight 1-inch violation here. So I have to imagine not many people have gotten refund. That seems like a ridiculous redemption practice.
What happens when you don't pay your HOA fee or bill?
You get a lien put on your property because you have to have a less than the lien. You have to have a clearance from your HOA before you can sell your house.
They can lean on their own ass. They ain't leaning on mine. Are you kidding me?
If you want to sell your house, they're going to take that money.
That's a mess, y'all.
They're going to get their money.
Go ahead, enjoy your white picket fences, people. I'd be all right with my chain link.
Be happy with that gate.
Right.
There you go. Wow, man. Fix the HOA over there. Fix all your HOA.
Golly, tone it down.
All right, here we go. 2 development review board members have resigned after Ponte Vedra Inn and Club expansion got the okay. 2 members of the Ponte Vedra Zoning and Adjustment Board in St. Johns County have resigned after the St. Johns County Commissioners approved a major expansion project to the Ponte Vedra Inn and Club, contrary to the PVZAB's. Boy, all these planning and zoning. So hard to keep up with those abbreviations. After the PVZAB's recommendation for denial, Jane Rawlinson, one of the resigning members, expressed dissatisfaction, feeling that the county commission did not value the board's decisions. Newsflash, the county never really does. And not just the county. Let me rephrase that.
Okay.
Commissioners are going to vote the way they want to vote at the end of the day. And unless it's a huge violation of law, they take the planning and zoning suggestions as just that, a suggestion. They frequently vote against planning and zoning suggestions. Not saying that I don't know if this was a good deal.
Didn't we go through this at the beach with the embassy? Like if the building was too tall,
yes,
I think it's something like this.
You're exactly right. Very similar situation.
So I think they're trying to protect.
It's a lot of who's doing the lobbying for you, when they're doing the lobbying, and the timing of the lobbying. And when you sit on these boards, I sit on one, and it's very frustrating. You volunteer your time to go through, you do your homework, you do all your diligence, and then basically you come to a decision as a board, and then you get to the main board, and they're like, nah.
And they already have their mind made up.
Why not waste all that time?
Right.
So I kind of get where these members are.
Oh yeah, I'm not saying I don't get where they're coming from.
I'm sure there's a lot more to that, but I've seen it happen. It's frustrating.
You don't feel heard and seen. Yeah.
This is the one where Gate is involved in this.
You got a very strong,
club.
politically powered,
lots of money
group that's involved in it. So that's what I'm saying. Who they get to, when they get to them, and how they talk to them. Lobbying controls our world.
Well, it's going to change the whole atmosphere of that area because you look at Jack's Beach, it looks very Miami. Then you go into Ponte Vedra where it doesn't have those tall, high-rise buildings. And that's basically what this is going to open up, if my understanding is correct. That is going to open up for higher buildings being able to be put there. So I don't know. It definitely is a big cat fight with this whole situation.
Yeah, they've set a precedence, but I mean, it's... I think it's a one-off more than anything else.
I'm proud of St. Augustine Beach for sticking to it, though. Yeah. We look amazing.
They say during the county commission meeting, there was considerable support. As I read this sounds interesting. Considerable support for the Ponte Vedra Inn and Club expansion, with residents donning yellow buttons and displaying yard signs in favor of the development.
Oh.
Well, a lot of those people are members.
Right. Exactly. Members or, I don't know, maybe coerced to be there. That sounds just very out of the ordinary from regular old St. Johns County citizens. And yard signs, I've never seen that before.
Especially yellow. Yellow's very tacky.
I've seen yard signs opposing. But
Right.
I've really never seen yard
I've
signs.
never seen yard signs in favor of a development. By Gate Petroleum.
You know
here in
what?
St.
You're
Johns
right.
County.
That is weird.
That's very, very
I've
weird.
seen a lot
So-
of no PUDs with a certain
Right. But people bringing yard signs, I mean, I'm not a gardener, but it sounds like plants to me.
Hey, don't forget about those buttons.
Yeah.
Everybody loves a good button.
I love a good button.
So I don't know. There you go. That it is what
Interesting.
it is. Yeah.
And I, and the buttons that I'm sure the Ponte Vedra people, I'm sure they had the magnet ones.
Oh, yeah,
I
don't
wanna
wanna
make
get-
a hole.
No,
I hate
no,
that
no,
though.
no,
The magnet
no.
one.
Horrible to ruin a nice shirt with
Yeah,
stupidities. Yeah.
Promise they didn't have the ones with just like the cheap ones.